Okay, so my favorite joke is from a very old movie. I believe now it's, oh god, 32 years old, I believe. Nearly as old as me. The movie title is Hot Shots Part 2. I can never say the French word correctly. Um, but basically, Hot Shots Part 2, if you don't know, just some background on the movie, was part of the whole David Zucker, I think his name is, style of filmmaking, the F. Murray Abrahams movie. So, you know, like the likes of Airplane and so on. Those kind of movies, Hot Shots Part 2 came out like toward the end of that kind of like fad, I guess, of that kind of style. And it was a really fun movie. I really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite movies, to be honest. But I recognize that it's not high art, you know. And my favorite joke from the movie, is you have these two characters. You have the character Topper Harley, who's like the main character. He's kind of like a Rambo pastiche, and his love interest Ramada. And they're on a boat. They're doing like a kind of Apocalypse Now kind of parody. And because this is a Hollywood sequel, right? In the first movie, Ramada and Topper Harley got together and were going to live happy ever after. But because it's a sequel, in between that movie and this movie, they've broken up. And Ramada, gave no reason to Topper Harley as to why she broke up with him, right? In this movie, it's revealed that she has a husband who is captive, and it's actually like who the movie is kind of centered about. He's the MacGuffin of the movie in a sense. And there's a scene on this boat where they're going down, like the Apocalypse Now satire, where she reveals this to Topper Harley, that she's looking for her husband, and he replies with the phrase, "You're joking." And Ramada, she replies, "No, I'm serious. If I was joking, I'd say a horse walks into a bar, the bartender asks why the long face." And Topper Harley replies, "You're not joking." And it's such a stupid scene, and I if I can find a good clip of it, if I can find a good quality clip of it, I'll put it up for you just so you can watch it yourself. But it's not a great scene. It's not particularly funny, but that scene has stuck with me through years. Like, I use this quote regularly. You know, like if someone tells me, like, if someone says to me, "Oh, Terrence, you're joking," I say, No, I'm not joking. If I was joking, I'd say a horse walks into a bar, the bartender." And you know, it's like, you know, it's just such a good line, I feel. But anyway, that's the line. That joke, that whole setup, the "you're joking," "no, I'm not joking," "if I was joking, I would say a horse walks into a bar, the bartender asks why the long face," "you're not joking." That whole exchange is going to be the conversation that we're going to try to change, that we're going to try and translate into Japanese today. And I've had some like preliminary looks into this, and it's actually a little more difficult than it seems at first, and we'll talk about why in a second. But yeah, let's go. Actually, let's go over to the computer for this, and I'll put some stuff up on screen so you can see like me, rather than just me talking throughout this, right? Okay.
Wow, that looks very dark. I need to get a light of some kind for this. Can't do anything about it today. Right, so before we start, I'm going to show you two like valuable tools for translating Japanese into English, or English into Japanese. The first is this website here, jisho.org. Jisho, if you're studying Japanese, you probably know this word already, but if you're not, it just basically means dictionary. There are many of these types of dictionary websites on the internet. This is the one that I recommend. It is the most useful. You can search through using radicals like here, or you can even like have a go drawing your own kanji and seeing if it finds. Sometimes it's like not so great because it's like expecting you to do it exactly, so yeah, it's a bit mixed. If you're good at drawing with the mouse, you'll have better results than I do, right? But it's a very good website. I highly recommend it. And the second one that I recommend using is DeepL. You probably know this one. Again, this one is one that uses AI to translate. I recommend it over Google Translate. I found that Google Translate has a tendency to be too literal at times. I don't know if it's getting better, but DeepL has like never failed me. So this has helped me with sorting out like tax returns. This has helped me with sorting out like apartment documents and such. I highly recommend it if you get it. And it does have an app. In my experience, the app is not as powerful as the PC setup, but yeah, these are the tools. These are the two main tools that we're going to use today: gshow.org and DeepL. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so when I started this for the first time, I thought it was going to be a bit simple. I already know the Japanese word for horse, uma, so just to check. And yeah, there we go, uma, right? So you got that set up for you, nice and simple, right? I knew the word for enter, which is haidu. So to enter, to go into, yeah. I knew the Japanese word for bar, which is just bar. Actually, I think come over. Of course I come over, yeah. So you got bar. And yeah, you got like the kind of the sakaba, but it's just this one is just what we're going to use today, just bar, right? And what was the other phrases that we needed? So I also knew the word for so if you look up for joke, I believe is kyodan, I think. Jordan, it's Jordan. Okay, so not Jordan, it's Jordan. So we're going to use that word as well, Jordan, right? So let's have a go first of all, just writing this out, like kind of in DeepL, and see what it is. Right? Oh, forgot nagai for long, right? So if we go on to this and we put our Japanese phrases on. So you say, I hope this doesn't translate. The one thing about DeepL for some reason is that I don't know if it's like it's from that country. I haven't checked it. It'll sometimes change the default language into German. So we'll see if that happens when I'm translating now. But you got Jordan, Jordan Nai. Okay. So okay, you got to be kidding me. You're not joking. This is no joke. So this is pretty similar to what we're saying. So I don't know if this is like perfect, but you know that's what we're here to do today. So that's Topper Harley's first line. You're joking. You got to be kidding me, right? There could be something like Jordan na. It's like, are you kidding me? You know, I think that's more along the lines of it, yeah. But we'll stick with that for now. English American. Let's see if this shows up differently in English British. You must be joking. So yeah, even better in the English British, in the proper English. You must be joking. Yeah, you gotta be kidding me. So the next line is I'm not joking, right? So Ramada, she has a bit more formality to her than Top Harley. So she would maybe say Jordan Janai. This is no joke. That's a bit Janai Ja arimasen. So I'll go with that. Oh, not arimasen. Arimasen. Okay, so I'm not joking. So that sounds a bit more like Ramada's tone of voice, right? She's a bit more formal in the movies. So you're joking? I'm not joking, right? I say something like Jordan Itara. So I'm going to change this slightly actually, because it is a quote, but it's kind of like quoting herself, so that would be a bit strange. So we're going to start first of all with the uma. So uma wa, I still want to do uma. Uma wa ba ni haite. So let's get that on the kanji actually, so it doesn't mistake it for ni wa. And then bartender in Japanese is very simple. It's just bartender, you know. So the bartender, and then we got our Japanese punctuation, which is here. And the bartender says something like "nagai kao doshita no," maybe something like that. So what's with the long face, yeah? And then this is where it gets like a bit more tricky again. Is that the kind of why is that showing up? That's annoying. Is that the topper's response to this would just be Jordan Janai. So like you're not joking, you know. Let's change it into you're not joking. So yeah. So you're joking, I'm not joking. If I were joking, a host walking to the bar and the bartender would say, "What's with the long face?" And you're not joking, right? So mission complete, right? Except if we go into, and this is kind of one of the problems with expressions, especially, is if you go into G-show, and let's get the Japanese off, and you say long face. Okay. So now you have this word instead. Ukanu kao, right? So this word here, to show on one's face, smile, sadness, you know. So when you're thinking, even better, to become merry, to be cheerful, yeah. So uku. This here, or nagai. And I'm kind of hesitant, like I'm kind of flipping back and forth between which is the better one. So if we change this into, change that into Japanese again. Okay, let's say uku nu. See, it translates the same as like what's with a long face, but of course this uku does not have the feeling, doesn't have the meaning of long, as in like the kind of the shape of the face. It just has the kind of actual thing. So at that point, it's like, which one do you use? Do you use the ukunu kao, or do you use the nagai now? Nagai kao. Yeah. Personally, I'm leaning towards this one, even though it's like, I think it's like, if you were saying this in Japanese, it wouldn't be as clear, and people would think like, oh, but you know, that gives it more of a kind. If I just say like, if I change this into like the English and say, a horse walks into a bar and the bartender would say, "What's with the sad face?" You know, I think it would be a bit different meaning as well, you know? It lacks that kind of meta thinking applied to it. Is it meta thinking? Or, you know, just kind of sideline thinking? Anyway, so with that in mind, I'm going to have a go now reading this out loud. Bear in mind, my Japanese, like I say, is awful, but the whole point of this is to try practice speaking Japanese and practice learning and reading and writing and such, right? So let's have a go, right? So you have Topper says, "Jodan na." Ramada, "Jodan ja arimasen." Jodan itara, uma wa bar ni haite, barten ga nagai kao to, nagai kao ga doshita no. Terrible, right? It tells you. Topper replies, "Jodan janai." Okay. Let's do one more time, right? And I'll choose the better one, right? So Topper says, "Jodan na." "Jodan ja arimasen." "Jodan itara, uma wa bar ni haite, barten ga," I should be ga, "nagai kao doshita no?" "Jodan janai." What do you think? So yeah, that was today's video. Thank you very much for watching to this part. if you want me to see me do more of this, I'm more than happy to. And actually, no, I'm doing it anyway. Screw you. But yeah, have a good one. I'll see you next time. Bye.